Hello, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to Anime Watch Club, a bi-weekly group discussion and review where the hosts of the What You Say Anime podcast nominate and vote on shows that we haven't seen or hopefully lead to a great discussion. On today's episode, we will be reviewing the 2013 anime Danganronpa. Boop, 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 boo. If you can figure out who done it, then only they will receive punishment. But if you pick the wrong one, then I'll punish everyone besides the blackened. And that one that deceived everyone else. Boop, 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 boo. Let's meet today's host. First up, super high school level, utilitarian. We got Trent. Trent, how's it going, brother?
It's going good. I'm ready to crack the case and get some hope in our lives.
Yes, sir. Next up, super high school level, ichthyologist. We got Jay. Jay, how's it going?
Anybody else watch a lot of X-Men Evolution growing up?
Oh, you're doing the rogue dance or whatever?
Yeah.
Our first moderator tonight, super high school level biologist. We got Miles.
We've been waiting so very long for peasants like you to appear.
And Pat.
Nay. I think we did the same joke last year. Hey guys, some things never change. Welcome to Danganronpa Watch Club. That was something else, Pete. Well
Thank
done
you.
with the intro. A lot of effort went into that, especially my intro. I think really speaks to how much we value our time here. As you can see by what we're all wearing as well. So happy Halloween! We are literally recording this on Halloween night. But yeah, spooky. Ooh, we watched this horror anime in themes of trying to watch a horror anime, I suppose, and watching Danganronpa, the animation. So yeah, as Pete said earlier, aired in 2013, done by Studio Lurch, who, God, what have they done? I feel like I remember some things that they've done. Oh yeah, Classroom of the Elite. There you go, Pete. Yeah,
wow.
This is the connections are coming through Monster Musume, Asobi Asabase, and Given. That's surprising to me that they would do Given. Like, very different show than this one. But yeah, let's get right into it. Why don't we do our first impressions? It's a little spoiler heavy as well, so let's stick to our first couple episodes as usual. Miles, why don't you start us off?
Yeah, so I've played through Danganronpa, so I guess I knew exactly what to expect going into this, I guess, but like mostly it was just like looking for the differences. I enjoy this series. This is, mind you, not me saying that the series is good, but this is me telling you that it's perfect in every conceivable way. And I had a lot of fun. I don't know what it would be like watching it without having like consumed like reading of it, where you have more in depth for like the characters' relationships, and like it's harder to get confused on like the trials and stuff, maybe because you like the evidence they show in this is like really quick, right? But like I don't know, I had a good time. As to if I would like recommend this, yeah, I would, for everyone. Show everyone Danganronpa.
Quit horsing around, Miles. All right, Jay, what have you got?
To give my first impressions of this, I have to give some context to what my true first impressions of Danganronpa was. So, why don't I take you guys all back to the magical time that was so long ago of 2013,
Ooh.
a decade ago. Me, I was redacted age in high school. I'm not telling any of you fucking weirdos on the internet my true age. And, this came to me as one of my first, like, anime series that I kind of got to experience, like, it being in, like, the zeitgeist. That wasn't, like, just, like, shonen or something that was on, like, Adult Swim, more or less. This was kind of, like, one of the first seasonals I ever watched, I would say. And it just kind of blew me away. Like, it was my first, like, mystery anime, besides, like, Death Note as well. And I really liked the way that they presented it, like the death game stuff. At the time, it was like a pretty unique take on everything. It might feel somewhat derivative of things that we have nowadays, but I think that when you think about when it was released, it was pretty unique for what it has. And I think that the thing that'll stand out to most people that watch this is the very visually striking character designs. And I think that that's probably what's held up the best for me, and what most people will come into this and enjoy is the character designs. So, long-winded way of saying, yeah, I also recommend this to nearly everybody. I think that this is a very fun anime that, even if you don't think it's a masterpiece, you'll probably have a really good time with it.
I agree. Character design's awesome. So awesome throughout the show. It was really, really fun. Striking, visually interesting at the very least, I would say, for the entire show.
And very diverse too, and not like diverse in an organic way where it doesn't feel like they're just like adding characters to fill out like body type slots or whatever. Like the characters have reasons for looking the way they do that informs their character, and there's a lot of detail that goes into the models that can inform you of the characters before they even speak in this show, in my opinion. And I think that adds another level to it. Sorry to interrupt you. I just wanted to.
No, that's correct. I agree with that. Everything you said there. It's your first impressions. There you go. Trent, what about you? What have you got?
So this being on the internet and in the internet or the anime and gaming communities for so long now, it's kind of impossible to stay away from seeing anything Danganronpa related, whether it's like memes, cosplayers, clips, whether it's of the game or the anime itself. Like, it's, for me at least, it's been such in my periphery for so long, almost like JoJo's in a way where you might not have seen JoJo's, but you've seen enough memes and things like that to at least have a familiarity with it. So this has been a series that I've been wanting to either watch or play for a long time now, just because I've seen these characters and their antics and the different deaths and the wacky hijinks and everything about the show for so long, that I was excited to finally see where it all came from. And I am so glad I did, because this series is such an absolute shit show, but it's such a fun ride. So yeah, I'm glad I finally dipped my toes into it, and not having a background of the visual novel or the game, like Miles or others. It made me, the anime did its job in promoting the series and promoting the game to make me want to get into it even more. So kudos to that. I'd recommend it.
Completely fair. Yeah, I'd say that you said batshit insane this game is, or the series is, and I agree with that 100%.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Pete, what about you?
So I kind of wish I imagined I watched this back in 2013 and played the game. I think this is kind of like what the Five Nights at Freddy's fans are feeling right now with the movie, that while it may not be technically good, it's more of a cultural experience. And living in that moment, I think would have been really cool, but instead I had to wait 10 years and watching Has played for 15 minutes to kind of get my first like feet in the water to understand what Danganronpa is. My first impressions of this show, it's a mixed bag from what I've heard, because I've heard both sides. It's fantastic. It's the best thing ever. That's what Miles said. And then I heard that it was pure garbage. Burn it with any form of flammable liquids as well, and then light it on fire from Has. And then I jumped into it. I was like, these first 3 episodes were awesome. I had so much fun watching this show. Did it last? We'll find out later. But the first impressions of the show was great. Would I recommend it, though? If your average mouse score is a 5, I would not recommend this at all. If your average mouse score is a 7 or higher, I would absolutely recommend this, because this show was very fun. It was a very fun show to watch.
So what you're saying is Has is pretentious.
Yes, but it doesn't mean he's wrong. He can be pretentious and correct.
Trust me, I know that.
I can tell by who you dressed up as.
Wait, do you think Junko is correct?
I mean, she's not wrong, so what does that mean?
Okay, fair enough.
We can unpack that later.
Yeah, that's
good. Let's unpack that later. All right, and last but not least, I'd say everyone else touched on the points I wanted to touch on for first impressions, at least. I think visually, it's stunning. It's super cool, especially the character design. Like, and while all of the art styles that it transitioned between didn't always hit for me, I appreciated the attempt, and it's not like any of them were like horrific or bad.
They actually ripped some of them from the visual novel. A lot of the trial stuff and the executions are actually just from the VN.
Like straight up, or
straight up, 100%.
All right, that makes me like it less, but all right, whatever. At least I guess they were going for the inspiration, except it's not inspiration; it's literally stealing.
If it makes you feel better, they switched the art style up in that too. So, like for those cutscenes,
right? Well, fair enough.
Yeah,
that's like again, it's cool. I just wish that they were a little more creative, not just like taking the work that was there.
I feel like in video game anime adaptations, that's kind of like par for the course because I feel like if you're watching it as a fan of the game or whatever, you kind of want to appeal to those fans in like fan service in a way where it's like, hey guys, like you loved the game. Here's something you love from the game so much being shown in the anime. That's something I kind of, when I was watching the Persona anime, or Persona 5 anime, not to bring it up, but because I'm Joker right now, but there were so many things like as I was watching that, like the anime was not very good, but there was like this is the same exact sound effects or clips or like fight scenes, things like that. I'm like, holy shit, this is like I'm playing the game again, but just watching it on TV, and so I feel like you have to find that balance between that.
No, I think that makes sense. But yeah, so I would recommend it though. Overall, I enjoyed it very casually. I will say it lost me a little bit by the end of it, but I did have a really good time throughout the entire time I was enjoying it. So at worst, like I think like what a pizza analogy is a great way. Like if you're looking for something that's like critically sound, then you're probably not going to want to watch this. But if you're just looking for a show to watch or something fun and zany and wacky, I would totally recommend this show. So sweet. Yeah, let's get into spoilers then. So if you haven't watched Danganronpa yet, then what the hell are you doing? Go watch it. And then come back to us. What do we want to start with our talking points today? I mean, do we want to just start with
let's hit with the premise, okay? Because this show has a freaking insane premise,
wild.
right? Yeah. So we start at Hope's Peak Academy, where it's like a elite high school where the ultimate high school character trope goes, right? So you have like the ultra high school level gambler, the ultra high school level idol, the ultra high school level fashionista, etc. So that's what our class is made up of. People who are super lucky, except for are super talented, except for our main character who is the ultimate lucky student because he got in via a random drawing. So they wake up after they go to this high school and it's completely shut out from the outside world. All the windows are like bolted shut. The doors are all closed. There's like a vault. And a bear named Monokuma makes himself known to them and basically tells them the only way that you can get out of here is to kill one of your classmates and get away with it. So have fun murdering people. And so from there, people start getting murdered, and then we have like trials to try to figure out who the murderer is. So that's the premise of it, which is nuts. Just like a crazy thing. I don't know, what did that like hook you guys? Were y'all hooked?
Yeah, I could start with this because
okay,
when we get into like the first trial, after the first murder, like they've been told that like in order to get out, like you need to murder somebody or somebody needs to get killed, and you need to like essentially get away with it, and that way you can escape the school. So the first murder, I don't know what it is in terms of the timeline, but in the anime, it felt like it was like 2 days. So within like,
right, yeah.
So they're not like starving. They're not like any pressures being put on them. Just after just 2 days of being confused, somebody murders somebody. And that was like, what? Like, it's not like Lord of the Flies where like, they're going crazy being stuck on this island and there's like this psychological drama that leads to like some bad things on the island. This is just like they're trapped. They have resources, they have food, they have like showers and everything. And after 2 days,
There
somebody
is
gets
some
murdered.
psychological torture, mind you.
Yeah, but like in the beginning of like the first 2 days, like would that cause somebody to just like straight up murder somebody?
You're imprisoned and told the only way out is to kill someone.
Yeah,
but
but-
then you're also told, some people were told, like Sayaka specifically was told that her family was being held hostage.
Sakura, right?
No, Sayaka as well, like, or her bandmates or something. Someone was being held hostage for her, which is why she tried to set him up. Sakura's dojo was
Yeah.
like,
Wait, I thought Saika's was like her idol group was no longer an idol group or something like that.
I think she took it as a threat, right? Like, because
Oh.
like the video was like showing them like dying
Okay.
or whatever.
Oh, I thought they okay. I thought that was like they were like just like no longer a band. Maybe I'm misinterpreting that, but I guess to me like how it escalated from like day 1 to day 2 was like 0 to 100, and I was like, holy shit! Like okay, let's go. Like I thought it was a good thing just because like how wacky and wild the premise is. It's just like, oh, we're just going for it, and that's kind of like the thing that like hooked me to it. Just like, yep, we're just gonna start murdering people. I'm like, all right, fuck it, let's go. So that was one thing that like really stood out to me in the beginning.
Yeah, I loved the first like 3 to 5 episodes. I think were really good. Where someone gets murdered or something happens, and then they detective it out. They figure it out slowly and piece it together. I really enjoyed that aspect of it so much more than I enjoyed the later parts of that premise, so to speak. Because like the premise did eventually, they tried to change it up. They tried to switch away from the murder mystery game to more of a, I don't even know what to call the last like 4 episodes of the show. They were kind of just out there for me, but
they're trying to escape the high school and figure out who's doing this to them, right?
Yeah,
and
right.
So,
or how to frame the guy, or how to escape. I guess. Yeah, I don't know. I guess I enjoyed it more when it was, oh shit, who's gonna do it? Who are we gonna bend and break? Are we gonna stick with it? What's the plan here? That's what I enjoyed, at least.
Yeah, I mean, I think everyone kind of likes that more. However, you can only do that until there's like 5 people left, right? So I did so in the visual novel, and this is a thing that I think the anime sort of failed at, but you get a lot more hints about what's going on, because like watching the anime, it seemed to me that like Kyoko's father being the principal came out of nowhere, right? They were just like,
yeah,
and like they didn't mention him a ton, and that just sort of happened. But like when you're going through, like, because in like, let's take the first murder trial as an example, right? So you go through and you go, like, in the anime they just show you all the clues, like bam, 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 bam. But like the first way I experienced it was like actually like walking around the halls of the school and like finding different parts of the crime scene, and like it writes it down in a little notebook for you, so you have time and you can talk to the different characters about what's going on, which is why I'm curious about everyone who hasn't played the game's perspective, because like my mind can just sort of fill in all of these blanks. But it sounds like you guys liked at least the presentation of the first couple, and then maybe as more clues didn't get introduced until like right before for like the more complicated things, it sort of lost the plot.
I didn't really have too much of an issue with like the pacing and not feeling like I was missing out on clues. It's kind of like when we watched Higurashi, where it was just everything was just so fast, where I didn't really feel like I had time to be confused, just because it's like as soon as you get information, it's just like, oh okay, sure, oh all right, yeah, all right, cool, yeah. So I didn't really mind like the not getting or not finding out clues in your own brain. It was a lot easier for me to just shut my brain off for that because of that. So it was okay. It was okay for me. I just it was just fun in general. I was just having a good time, so I didn't really care too much.
I think for me, the first murder, it felt like, even though it was simple, and I do think it's great that you start off with like the first one as simple, it felt like I was playing the game with them, if that makes sense. And then later on, it felt like they were playing the game without me, because some of the other ones were like implementing evidence that like either we didn't see, or it was so quick that it was like
very fast.
It was like hard to even like know if that mattered or not, I guess. Yeah, there's just like a few things like that where it's like it was hard to determine like am I supposed to be involved in this with them, or am I just supposed to be watching like a Twitch stream or something?
Yeah, not only does it happen fast, but it's like, how are you supposed to take those 5 flashes of clues and then sit there and go, okay, unless you pause the show, which
Yeah.
inherently, if a show ever expects you to pause for like understanding what's going on,
Yeah, it's
then
not
that
a
is
manga,
flawed.
right?
That's
Like-
flawed. That's extremely flawed in theory, right? Like so I guess like for me, it's like if like how am I supposed to sit there while I'm still listening to dialogue? Thankfully, I was listening because I was watching it dubbed. But if I was, especially if I'm like sitting there trying to read subtitles too, how am I supposed to solve this case with those 5 clues with literally 30 seconds, not even while dialogue's going on? There is no way to solve it. So I guess that I don't know. I think Haz was talking about how he hated the mystery. It was like, oh, this is a mystery in quotation marks. I thought it was very mysterious at times. But I felt like I never sat there actively trying to go, oh, I know exactly who did it, or I know that this happened or that. There might have been times where I was like, I think this person's the killer, but it was never I think he's the killer because X, Y, or Z. It was more just,
like a
oh, I
vibe.
don't like the way that they're acting or the way that what's going on right now. Yeah, it's definitely this guy.
Yeah.
that
Like
kinda thing.
like Celestia definitely is going to kill someone at some point, and we're running out of time for her to kill someone, so it's probably her. Because that's how I figured out it was her in the VN.
Interesting.
So Celeste. Oh yeah, no, like obviously, yeah, she has to be. There's no way she makes it to the end, right?
Yeah, no, 100% no.
I do wish we had, because from based off what Miles has told me, like what Haz has told me, that like they've cut out some things where it's more like the in between murders that I think where if evidence was missing in the murders, if we like knew personality traits and more about other people and like their background, I think you could do a better job at like putting the pieces together maybe. And I think that's sort of where like the mystery element fell off, because it got to the point where I feel like even if you did pause it, you legit could not solve some of these cases. And I think it could be good or bad depending on how you wanted to view it. But I know, like, for example, I'm gonna bring it up like the 90th time in Watch Club. When we did Perfect Blue, we talked about it for 4 hours because the mystery elements in that movie was so good that like we could have discussions going back and forth about like different theories. And in this, it was really hard to like in the moment, or I'd say like episode 6, it was hard to come up with like theories on things because we lacked so much content about these characters.
This was like, I guess, like the overarching mystery, I think, is like missing from this, because at least from this adaptation, right? Because there are like, I guess in theory you can figure it out from like episode 2 if you're being like really, really, really sharp, right? That Junko is behind all of this. But you'd have to be like really, really.
Yeah, I'm
sharp.
not that person.
I didn't know.
No,
Yeah.
I mean,
Yeah.
so did anyone see that? Because like there are hints to it, but they gloss over them, like comparative to like when you're reading something, right? So there's mentions on how she looks different from her photos, and
That's
she like
what
brushes it
but
off, being like that. When she gets killed, when her sister gets killed from the Monokuma, she's like, this, like, why me? This wasn't supposed to happen.
Yeah.
Which is like a direct response. So like that gets cleared up a bit. Then there's like the 2 despairs. You know that there's a missing student. So like, you know, there's stuff there to like figure it out. But again, they gloss over all of that stuff. Like in the game, you find Junko's magazines and you can like look through them and like see what she's like and what she looks like. And when you interact with her, it's very different. And like she plays it off the same, right? As in like, oh, they Photoshop me and like that's the personality I put on in like my interviews and stuff, right?
Oh, yeah.
But like, you know, like, but you spend more time with those instances, you know, and then all of that. So, you know, that's something to think about.
See, I was close in my theory because you know the show that's airing now, Miggy and Dolly.
I haven't watched any of it, but I do know.
Well, you know how they're like
Banger.
they're like twins or whatever, and they like look the same and they act the same. That's what I thought the 16th student was. That there was like a Miggy and Dolly thing going on.
There was.
No, but like, how do I describe it?
In Neegi and Dolly, they're constantly like switching.
Yeah, like
okay.
they're
They're
together.
stance dancing.
Yeah, exactly.
basically.
That's what I thought was going. That was the 16th. Like, what was just like hiding in the room in the closet or something?
Okay, so like, you know,
This is more of like a
Yakuza,
sister.
there's two of
This
them,
is
and
a
they go, like,
sister
back and forth, whatever.
Yeah,
situation.
identical
okay.
twins, not fraternal twins. There we go.
Okay.
There we go. We got there.
You sort of had a secret 17th student with genocider.
Show.
Yeah.
Oh, you big
I guess that kind of is that, isn't it? Damn.
Oh,
Yeah,
I'm,
a little
I'm
bit, yeah.
so team show.
Yeah. Okay. I think we should spend some time, and we can go through the plot more later. But I think the real strength of the show, to everyone who isn't has, is the characters. Like, I think the characters are just enjoyable people. They're like tropes, but they have some amount of depth to them, and they're presented in like pretty unique ways. And they're also tropes that are like not the normal ones we see, I guess. It's not like tsundere or anything. It's more like profiles or something. I don't know. I don't really know how to describe it. But like, there's a lot of great characters in the show. Who did you guys like? Who's your favorite person? Was there anyone you were sad to see get got? Anything like that?
It's got to be Sakura who's the MVP, right? Like, even despite the traitorness, like,
Mhm.
I don't know. Maybe I'm biased, but she was just awesome in my opinion.
Miles, could you answer me a question about Sakura, maybe in the visual novel?
Yeah.
Does she have amnesia like the rest of them? Because she's the mole. Like, I wasn't sure if she had amnesia or not.
Well, so she's missing that 2-year period that they're all missing, as far as I know.
Okay, because she always, I know it's part of her personality, but like she always referred to them as like her special friends, but like they really haven't known each other for that long. So that's made me think like, maybe since she was the mole, she didn't have amnesia. She was just like playing along with it, and everybody else did.
So I think she did, but I think that so I think part of the friendship thing is like, this is another thing, right? Like, I think they show a flashback to her and Ai, like being friends that was never shown to like, because they didn't have time to develop any of those relationships, right? But like, I think what it was, I think they all have some sort of like intuitive understanding of their friendship, and depending on their personality, that like shines through more through the amnesia. But from my understanding, I could be wrong. It's been several years that she just got blackmailed and was helping because of that.
Gotcha. Well, Sakura is also my favorite character based off one reason. In the pool picture, she is doing a shuriken to a pool inflatable toy, and that picture goes hard as fuck. So yeah, Sakura, my favorite character.
I love her so much, dude.
I guess for me, I really like Chihiro. Their character was very interesting at the beginning. I did not expect the twist involving them being in the dub, which I thought was interesting too. They referred to them as a trap still, even though which was 2013, I guess. So maybe that's why it was still used. But it's like, no, they were cross dressing, right? Or I don't even know. Like they didn't really fully dive into it in the show, but I thought that was I thought that the character themselves was very interesting and nice. Yeah, I don't know, they were just nice, right? Like they were a good person. That it was like, oh man, I hate that they are trapped in this scenario, right? Like, I also loved Junko's voice actress was doing wonders in that last episode.
The last act was insane.
Four voices in the dub, like killing it, and also the main guy too. Like Bryce Pappenbrook, that's the most impressed I've been. Like, because I don't know, even I don't know, for SAO, like I'm a sub guy, not a dub guy. But like I've seen Pappenbrook do Kirito before, and I was just like, it's fine. Like, it's nothing special. He's cool, whatever. He did a really, really good job in this show, I thought, in terms of just like really leaning into the I am the protagonist. Fuck you. Like, this is my rules, bitch. Like that kind of a thing. And I thought he did a really good job. I think all the dub though was really incredible. I don't know. It's hard to pick a favorite character. I didn't like the ones with the tongue stuff. I hated that, but everything else was cool. Sorry, go ahead, Trent.
No, I was just gonna say on the point of the dub, because that's what I watched as well. I watched both sub and dub, I kind of was like flipping back and forth in the beginning just to see kind of what I really preferred. Um, but the dub cast had you could tell that they had so much fun
Yeah.
with it between just because if you at least from the subtitles that were provided, the subtitles there it was just like very straightforward. I will slice and dice you up. I'll cut you up. But then like you go to the dub and it's like tell Miss Funbags over there I'm gonna cut off her sweater puppies. And I was like,
Yeah,
what
yeah.
the fuck? It's like, all right, sure. But on the like you brought up Chihiro earlier, and like the one death that really kind of shocked me and got me was the alter ego death. Like when they're like, "Oh, no one's going to die." Okay, well, alter ego. On you just see the happy little laptop and then getting crushed. I like legitimately was like, "Oh no, that's the only time it actually kind of like hurt me and it kind of felt serious. Everything else was just so campy and goofy, but that one was just like, oh, that actually pains me. But my favorite character though, it Junko at the end, her performance was incredible. I really loved everything that she did. Her voice actor or voice actress in general, I really liked. I like her in a lot of other things she does. Notably for me, I believe she's in Panty and Stocking, and she's Luco and Dragon Maid. So I really like her work in general.
She's
But
Rios in High School DxD as well.
oh, okay.
I saw
Okay,
that
cool.
too. I did
There
see
you
that.
go.
That was that made me laugh earlier.
I haven't seen DxD, but I'll assume that she killed that role as well. But for me, it was for Genocider Show. Like, and just like the flipping at when she was just her regular form, Toko, I was like, okay, she's kind of whatever, she's freaking out in the corner in the background, but when she would flip back and forth, and especially as the Genocider personality, I I absolutely loved it. She was cracking out jokes like every time she talked, she threw out some sort of reference, some sort of one-liner that I absolutely loved. Whether it was like she made a Rule 34 joke
Yes.
Yeah.
when they found the dummy body. She was like, "Oh, my Rule 34 fantasies." And I just absolutely loved that. And I thought she was just so fun.
I agree. All right. Quick question. Who out of the characters that survived while we're on them was one that did not deserve to survive, and why was it Yasuhiro?
Yeah, it's
Show!
100%
What?
What? No, it's Yasuhiro.
She's
It's
a
so-
serial murderer, but she does only
Yeah.
kill men. So
That makes sense that she survives. Like,
Have you
if anything.
you said
considered that
deserves.
She has an insanely good character arc, from what I understand.
If you heard that, if you consider that Yasuhiro is like really boring, Pete, and that's worse than being a serial killer.
And also
Ooh,
is
you're
a
making
fake
good
psychic.
points.
Like, he's like, "Oh, I'm a psychic, but I didn't notice that my crystal ball was missing after 24
He's
hours."
so goofy.
And I mean, again, he was fun. It's not like he was a
He's so
bad
silly,
character
babe.
either.
Oh, I actually think he's. I think he does nothing. I think he's.
Well, he
terrible
does
character.
nothing at the end of the day, but like when he's on screen, he's kind of funny. But like at the end of the day, like I was just like sitting there reflecting at the end, and I was like, all right, it makes sense that the serial murder killer, whatever, the crazy one, is still alive because I don't know, like she was relevant to figuring things out at the end. Two main characters makes sense; they're both alive. Crazy Junko, okay, sure, she's alive because she was behind the whole thing. Why and then there's this random dude just here, like why is he still here, oh, and then also but what's her name, the other one, big boobed
Asahina.
gym teacher
Asahina.
looking lady,
Yeah,
Asahina. I didn't
Asahina.
really understand why she was still there too, but like at the end of the day it was like, all right, she exists, right? Like, and I guess she was, I don't know.
There's a funny bad ending where I think it's like you can like select to just like live in the school forever. Like it's like Junko asks you, like, hey, do you want to do this? And you can just say yeah. And so it just shows Asahina holding like 3 babies, and like one is like Naegi baby, and then like one is a Byakuya baby, and then like one is so like it's just them living in the school forever, and then it's such a bad ending. It's funny.
Yeah.
Interesting.
Gross.
Gotta repopulate the earth, dude, or the school.
Gotta
Yeah,
start
cool.
somewhere.
But anyways, yeah, I don't know. I thought Yasuhiro was like the worst out of the 5 that made it, and I was curious how you guys felt too. I'm glad I'm not the only one.
Yeah, he kind of reminded me. It's kind of like Hoodlum in Akudama Drive,
Ah,
where
yeah.
he's just kind of hanging out there and just has his funny moments. The dub made him like this goofy surfer guy almost,
Yeah,
which was really
yeah,
funny.
bruh. Yeah,
And he
bruh.
was just like, oh, he's gonna get Hulk smashed, and and like he was just kind of barely getting by, like just either being scared in the corner, hiding under a table, or something else. But he didn't really. He just kind of skated by, and he survived.
He seemed like someone who would get killed, right? Like,
Yeah.
Yeah,
I
yeah.
thought I would find him at some point dead in a locker, like,
yeah.
and I kept on getting sad
That's
that
fair.
I didn't. But it's the same character designer as
Akudama Drive. as
Akudama
well.
Drive. Yeah.
Mhm.
Oh yeah,
Yeah,
that
I
makes,
really
that makes
like
a
their
lot
work.
of sense actually.
Mhm.
Yeah.
They've
and it might-
done some Fate Grand Order animations or character designs as well. So I'm like familiar with their work, and it's that was also something that kind of pulled me to the show or the series as well.
Yeah, the character designs are pretty evocative for whatever reason. I don't really get it, but it works for me, right? Like I enjoy it.
I do wish Sho got though. I thought she was kind of annoying. And she's like a serial murderer, and like it's because like everybody has like these high level powers, relating to somewhat to like high school stuff. So like fashion, sports, strength, and she's just like a murderer, like high school level power serial killer. It's like, yeah, join the class.
I mean, whenever it's Junko who's giving it out, it kind of makes sense, doesn't it?
I mean, it's wild and wacky. It's just it's like how I think you can like piece together some way it relates to high school with each person, except for the serial killer.
Well,
Well, she's a high school level literary girl. The main girl is, and then her
Yeah.
alter ego is the super high school.
Oh,
Yeah.
gotcha.
She's a,
You're right. You're
she's
right.
a high
Yeah.
school level novelist.
You are correct. That is.
Yeah, which is
That's smooth
my God.
brain Pete. That's smooth brain Pete.
if I was her,
We saved you from the
I-
YouTube comments. Don't worry.
Now they stopped listening after that for a second,
Yeah.
so this whole thing is worthless. This whole conversation.
I'd get so mad that Hifumi existed because you have like her, she's like, oh, I'm a published author and he writes fan fiction. It's like
Oh,
like-
he's a dojin. Oh, I didn't know that. That's what he
I kind of
was.
liked him too.
you
He was funny.
He's kind of a meme because he's just like stereotypical otaku, like to the
Mhm.
point. So it's like,
I
and
thought
he
you said
dies. He
he's
dies
kinda
by
like
being a
me
simp.
at first.
So it's like it's a weird.
yeah, he does die by being a simp. And honestly, good choice on who to simp for.
Oh,
Like,
for sure.
A plus.
Yes,
Um,
he gambles.
I never saw the hype for Celestia Ludenberg. I'm not gonna lie.
Her earrings are sick.
There's something just so great about someone who
wanting
I don't know,
vampire
I don't-
manservants.
yeah
Yeah,
like yeah. There's a lot
Okay.
there.
I mean,
Well,
Would you
when you
not
put it
take
that
them?
way,
Gambling is cool.
Gambling is very cool.
Your French royalty aesthetic is cool.
That is also
that reminds
cool.
me. This podcast is sponsored by DraftKings.
Use promo code Pete15 for 15% off your first order.
Here's the Miles what's it called?
Parlay of the week.
Parlay of the week. I like the Colts minus 2 and
This one goes for miles or something. I don't know. There's some pun in there somewhere.
yeah.
All she needed was an oh ho ho. Really.
Oh,
That
yeah.
was the only thing she needed.
Oh!
She's too refined for that. She's very like But I also like how she like loses her mind because like I don't know. I was talking to Haz about this as we were discussing if characters had any depth to them. I was talking about how the people who murder people like lose to like whatever their personal like despair is, right? And like they're not able to overcome that and stuff. And she was just like very, very afraid of being an ordinary person. And so like I don't know. I
Well,
think that's
been
just
there.
like an interesting thing, yeah, right? Like and so like when she just like couldn't accept that, which I thought was cool. Like I thought a lot of that stuff was cool. Like Pat had mentioned the chi hero thing, and I think it's neat to like have someone who's so stereotypically masculine, like as Mondo, like be jealous of this person who's always sort of failed at trying to be masculine, but like eventually, you know, like mans up, I guess, and like tries to do what they, like because they've always wanted, like Chihiro wanted to appear masculine and be seen as a man and everything, and just never was because of his physical appearance. And so like I thought that was neat. I don't know. I just think there's like neat. It's not like a ton of depth, right? But it's not. There's just like motivations at least to the characters, and I think that's neat.
Yeah, there's like a hint at what could have been like for the anime at least. There's a hint at what you could get from the characters if they had these moments of downtime and investigation where you could talk to them and get a better sense of their psyche or relation to the main character or what have you.
Yeah, what did you guys think of the main character of
Oh,
He's fine. Like,
I liked him
I,
enough.
I think at the end of the day, when it's like supposed to be hope, I think like he radiates that in a way where like I could sort of get behind him. But in the beginning, it was kind of tough because he was really not the spotlight. So I guess it's more along the lines of him becoming the main character later on was kind of like cool. But like if I fucked with him in the beginning, absolutely not. Little, a lot, yeah. The only thing that I think that would have been cool is if like his character, like his persona in the beginning was like acting this like timid, shy-ish dude as like a front, when really the whole time, like his superpower is like jujitsu and he's like really good at fighting or something like that. That would have been like a fun little twist. I like when the stories do that, but yeah, I think by the end of it, it was fine.
Yeah, so I was talking to Jay about this because I liked him more than when I played in the game, and I credited that to when I played the game because in this he figures things out and you see him like grow in his like deduction and everything, and like his ability to like keep everyone together. But I just gave myself all the credit for that when I played when I played the game, and he was just the annoying avatar in which I had to work through. So
one thing that I just remembered that why I didn't like him is because every time he said something like "that's not true," I just wanted to say "objection." But
Yeah, no, that's exactly what it reminded me of.
But it says like, "excuse me, that's incorrect."
That's what it's based on, right?
It does the objection thing even in the
sub. It's like, "excuse me, what you said is actually incorrect." And then
well,
like,
he goes, yeah. This is where Pappenbrook shined through. I thought because he goes
that's
like,
not right.
It's not right.
Oh,
like full intensity, like, and of course he doesn't literally say objection, but it does pop up on the screen, and he'll be like, "Bullshit." He didn't actually say that.
You'll get this reference, Pat, but the sub VA is Shinji's VA, and it just reminded me a lot of Shinji being like, actually, guys, I don't want to get in the robot.
Fuck that guy.
I have a question about Miles to you about Naegi in the game. So is he like your blank slate bland bitch in the game and you insert yourself as him, or does he carry the same personality in the game itself?
So he's bland bitch, but he's not blank slate, right? Like he is a bland bitch. Like he's just very like timid, and I don't belong here because everyone's so good at everything, and I'm just like lucky. Like he has a lot of like self-doubt and stuff about that. Like he narrates himself. Like he sometimes gives you hints, like you're like trying to figure out what it is, right? And he'll be like, wait a minute, something about what Celestia said doesn't seem right. What is that? And then you have to like play a mini game or something.
Got it.
Like the rhythm game. One thing that they did in this was keep essentially all of the mini games in some fashion. Some more than others, but like one of the mini games is just playing Hangman. Like you like click the letters as they like float around the screen to like get the right ones, and like I thought that was really weird to see in a non-interactive format because like I like how did you guys take things like that were clearly game pieces, because it was weird like when the letters were floating around and then they like go into the thing, like was anyone like why did they do that, or did you just assume it was a game thing? Because I guess that makes sense.
The latter.
Okay.
It was definitely like you could tell you're like, oh, I want a controller right now, or a
Yeah.
mouse or something. But it was fine. Like it didn't detract enough to make me think, oh, this looks stupid. I was just like, oh yeah, that's something from the game that there isn't really much of a way to translate that. So it was enough where I could overlook it.
Yeah, like I think I would have kept the truth bullets, because like that's like very evocative. I feel like, but I would have ditched the Hangman game for sure. Oh goodness. Okay, so was what was everyone's favorite arc? I guess did most people like the first one the most?
I really like Sakura's.
Okay.
And I think it sort of played into, I like how it played into Asahina's like hope bullet later on too. Sort of finding the reason why she should be hopeful for the future.
Mhm.
And well, I mean, and biased because Sakura is my favorite character in the story. That I just like her intentions and what she was trying to do, and it didn't seem forced. It felt pure, and I really enjoyed that. And it was a little different from like getting stabbed, getting bludgeoned, getting whatever. Like it felt outside of the norm for the style story.
Yeah, I liked that one a lot too. I liked the deduction that led to that, like realizing, oh, the reason why the door was locked is because the killer never left the room. Like I think that was very good.
It's a great twist on a locked room murder mystery, right? Like,
Yeah, exactly. It feels like something that they would get to at the end of a long bit in Undead Murder Farce, and I go, "Damn, Ayarindo's a fucking genius." But since it was Naegi doing it, I was just like, whatever, dude. Like, and I don't know, just like that shit shook me to my core the first time I saw it, basically. And like seeing like the smile on her face and everything really adds like another like layer of depth to it, in my opinion. So yeah, I would say that's probably my favorite investigation.
that I think with that one too, it's so sad to see someone as strong as her just sort of give up in that, because it's such a, like if you're thinking like everything else is like a little heightened, right? Like it's a little absurd and stuff, but someone killing themselves because they betrayed their friends or sad about it and they don't see any potential hope
That's a
in the
lot.
future is like a lot, right? Like that's way
Yeah.
different than like my idol group is being held hostage and I'm in a secret high school. Like, I don't know. It's a little more down to earth than that. And I kind of like that they went back in that direction a little bit before we completely went off the fucking rails right after that. So
I guess my favorite would be the first one, or the first
Mhm.
like I guess trial, because even though I did like I really like the first like three or so of them were more of my favorites, but the first one, what I really liked about it was Leon. They reveal that he didn't try to kill Sayaka. He was doing it in self-defense. He killed her or she attacked him, and then he fought back.
Yeah, that was fucked up,
And
honestly.
and then it doesn't matter though.
Mhm.
You got to get away with it. I liked that. I mean,
Yeah.
I thought it was fucked up and I thought it was dumb, but I was also like, okay, the rule is set. The rules are clear. Like this is how it works, except when it doesn't because it rewrites itself. But it in that specific moment, I thought that was really cool. How it was very clearly laid out. Like, oh yeah, it doesn't matter that he killed in self defense. He got caught, so he's dead. And that, I don't know. I thought that was a cool way to set the tone for the rest of the
Yeah.
show.
I liked that a lot. It really like just like so if somebody attacks you and you don't find a way to just work it out, then you just get fucked. Like that was honestly, I kind of forgot about that aspect of it on my first rewatch. I was like, damn.
Well,
So I think
yeah.
I give it big ups for that, where it's just something that makes you go, "Damn, that sucks." Like I don't like this character, but it sucks anyway.
Oh yeah, Leon sucked,
Mhm.
but
Worst
not very fair
character
to him.
design in anime,
It's up there.
low key.
Oh, it's gross. Yeah,
Um,
who would have facial hair? You know, like what an idiot, right? Like,
what kind
A
of?
goatee, chin, facial hair.
yeah,
I
like,
wouldn't
why?
braid. I wouldn't braid mine though.
No.
Like I could if I wanted to. I just don't.
You know who can braid their chin hair? Vikings.
Yeah.
Mm.
Leon,
Also,
not a
Not
Viking.
a Viking. Tying that back into the Sakura one thing, it's really fucked that if someone killed themselves and he like Monokuma Junko made everyone gather in the supposition that someone murdered her
Mhm.
and that they had to accuse someone when there was not going to be evidence for that. You know what I mean? Like imagine how tilted you would be if you're like, okay, we have to guess someone. This guy's footprints were here. Okay, let's just do him because that's all we got. And then he was like, actually, she killed herself. You all right? Gotcha.
Thanks,
What-
Mickey.
what-
Yeah.
What if this was Mickey Mouse instead of Monokuma?
Monokuma? That would be,
It's like that South Park episode.
yeah.
Mm-hmm.
It's-
Where Disney cut. Never mind. We won't
Yeah,
talk
yeah,
about
yeah.
it. Yikes! I thought about it as I started to say it, and I was like, never mind. Yeah, Indiana Jones.
you don't
or
want to
something,
make.
right?
You don't want to make that.
No, we don't want to think about it yet. That's not something we should talk about. But yeah, all right. Do we want to get on to closing thoughts? Then maybe we can. I don't know. Should we do best girl?
And we did best character.
Best character probably is better. Yeah, because I feel like we've already kind of talked about who our favorite characters are too. So,
any guesses on who my favorite character is?
Monokuma.
Yes.
yeah,
Technically, yes.
yeah, so to speak. There you go. Yeah, let's do our closing thoughts. Miles, why don't you start? And obviously our final scores as well. Miles, why don't you start us off?
Yeah, so I mean, I love this. It's a whole bunch of things that I enjoy, which is just sort of like absurdity mixed with like murder mysteries, mixed with like a great character cast and like personalities to play off of each other. If only there was a time loop in this, but sadly there's not.
Stargazing.
Yeah, stargazing. There a couple of things, and maybe this is my highest rated anime of all time. Who knows? One stargazing scene. I don't know. I thoroughly enjoyed it. I think that having like, I guess like I would recommend playing it is like the way to consume it, but like watching it isn't bad. But like I enjoyed watching it because I just sort of like got fed animated forms of like scenes that I liked from the game, which is cool. I love Junko. I think it's really neat to have this person who's been like working on this like evil plan so long that they don't even know who they are anymore. They don't have like a fixed personality at all.
They're like an entity, basically.
Yeah, like it's just like I also loved there's some touches with how she accepted her fate. Like Monokuna like normally drags people to be executed, and she just willingly walks with him in like the little animation, which is neat. And then like also her just absolutely loving the fact that she got defeated because of how much despair she felt on it, I thought was like super on brand, and I remember that striking me as like a really neat thing when I first consumed this. Anyways, I think that I'd probably give this like an 8 because I had a lot of fun. It does a lot of things I like. There are definitely like some issues with it, and I think that the adaptation has some issues and everything, but like I can fill those gaps in my head, and I don't care about doing the mental math to think about what I would think about the show if I couldn't do that. So 8 it is.
8 out of 10. All right. Jay, is your dog okay?
Yeah, she jumped off the bed for some reason. I don't know why.
What's the dog doing?
What the dog doing? Yeah.
He's fine.
It's like that's why I started cracking up there. I'm sorry. I just saw
I was wondering.
I saw it happen. Like,
oh, I thought you were like 8.
No.
Like, fucking clever.
No. I just saw a dog go flying by in someone's background. So I was just like, what just happened?
Yeah.
Jay, why don't you give us your closing thoughts and final score?
So best character for me, as I've mentioned multiple times, Sakura. Not really particularly close for me. Most of them don't super stand out to me besides Sakura, I guess.
Where's your Sakura wig, Jay?
Yeah.
Next year I'll have one.
When we
And
do
you know what?
Danganronpa 2.
I'll also get a really deep spray tan
Okay.
for it. Not one that would construe me as perhaps being cancelable, but a deep spray tan nonetheless.
You need a scar across your
Anyways,
face too. Yeah.
true.
Some muscles.
I already aim to have a scar across my face. Because if you ever see me in the woods and I'm fighting a grizzly bear, help the bear because he's gonna need it. But Danganronpa, before I got interrupted by Miles, I really enjoyed this quite a bit. On a watch through, I don't think it quite holds up as much as I wanted it to, like animation wise and stuff like that. Like it still looks pretty good, but it feels like there's certain scenes where it feels directly ripped from a video game cutscene, like the executions and stuff like that. Which I assume that
feels like that.
yeah, because it is straight up ripped from the video game. I realize that. So that's I'm getting to it. That's why I'm taking a few points off what I probably would have rated it 10 years ago. Overall, like I think that the characters are really fun. Character designs are just bangers. Everybody agrees with that. And the soundtrack, surprisingly very solid. Like the surprising like Euro beat, like just the beats though sort of thing going on a lot of the time. I really enjoyed it. So for me, this is like I gave this a 7.5 on AniList. I'm gonna give it a 7 here though.
I think that's fair.
We normally round up on these too. Tisk. That's
Yeah.
super. That's a very fair score.
All right, Trent, what about you?
This was certainly a ride. It was certainly a journey. It was an enjoyable journey, I would say, filled with hope and despair. But it was just so fun, so goofy. It's everything that I kind of like in a trashy show. Well, not trashy, but I guess not shitty, but shitty in a good way. It's so campy. It's so I'm 14. This is deep. As Pete mentioned earlier, he's said it was akin to like Five Nights at Freddy's, but I don't care about FNAF at all. But I am all in on Danganronpa, and I want more. I'm gonna buy the Decadence collection, or maybe just like one at a time. I don't know if I really want to drop $60, but maybe like
It's on sale
15,
on
20.
Steam.
There is a Steam sale? Okay, all right. Well, then I'll probably do that. Use your Steam creator code.
You can get Goodbye Despair for $14 on Steam right now.
Oh, perfect. I love it. But yeah, I love the designs and the art direction as a whole. The vibrant pink blood in the anime. I don't know if that was a censorship thing.
No, it's how it is in the thing.
That is how it is in the game. Okay,
might have been a censorship thing too. I don't know.
Okay, that was probably like the weirdest artistic thing that I was kind of about, but visually it was great. The dub cast was phenomenal. I'm usually not a Bryce Papenbrook fan. Aside from, I think he was Maso Mikita and do-da-da-da. But aside from that, like, I really loved everyone and the roles they did. They had so much fun and you could feel it yourself. I will probably give it an 8. As much as I love it, it's an 8 critically, but maybe like a 9 or a 10 in my heart.
Give your heart score, dude.
Pure fun rating, yeah, it was probably closer to like a 9 or so, but I'll settle on an 8. I'll settle on an 8.
An 8, alrighty. Pete, what about you?
So, if you don't know me about my score about Classroom of the Elite, which I compare the show a lot to, I nitpicked the shit out of it. I thought that show was pure ass, and it's one of the most overrated shows I've ever watched in my entire life. Danganronpa, if I wanted to nitpick it, I think the show is pure ass, like straight up. Like there's so many issues with it. The pacing was like terrible. I think how they solved some of the mysteries were just really poorly done. And I thought the ending was good, but I think it had issues. But The show was super fun. I already bought the second game that I'm going to be playing. Like, there's something about this that's just like it hits. So I think like critically, Trent gave it like an 8. Critically, I think it's like a 3. But I'm giving it a 7. I thought this was really, really fun.
Okay, fair enough. I can relate to that though. Yeah, like I don't know. I think I enjoyed Classroom of the Elite more overall. Although I guess the second season really weighed it down a bit for me. But I think that is a very like good comparison where like I guess a couple people have said it already. The I'm 14 and this is deep. Like it has that same level of nuance to it. I think because a lot of these murders that they do solve are just like you can't really solve it unless you were playing the game and then you knew it or like and I guess you're clairvoyant, right? Like there's a lot of things that you can't do, but it still does it in a very, very fun way. uh Everyone else has already said stuff about the character designs. I agree the music was really awesome. It fit the vibe of the show really well. The voice acting incredible. Not really super satisfied with the ending, like the classic like oh yeah, fade to white. And of course there is more content, at least thankfully. Like if this was the end of it and there was nothing more, show would be like a 4 for me. Like again, they reach the end goal, and what is there? There's nothing. Like I did like the messaging around hope and despair though as well.
That is thematic, right? Like it doesn't matter what's on the outside. That was like sort of like a large point.
Yeah, but like I also the entire final 3 minutes, I will give the show this credit, was sitting there just waiting for them to like open up the door and immediately have 3 of them get their heads blown off or something like that.
That's
like,
what I literally put that anime
expecting-
chat. I literally said, I hope they walk out the door and get murdered.
Like I was genuinely or expecting like I don't know, the wall to blow up or the button to be pressed and then they all have neck bombs go off suicide squad or something. Like I was literally waiting for something along the lines like that to happen.
That would be so
And
cynical.
the show
so cool.
it would be so cynical, but it would fit the show is super cynical though too, until it actually gets to the final arc where they're like, yeah, hope is what unites us, and say nay to like despair or something. Like I don't know. Sorry.
Yeah, you're banned. Everybody say goodbye to Pat. It's
Bye,
his last
Pat.
time on.
Oh, let me hit him with it.
Yeah. Bye. Let's mount back up and try again. Let's God damn.
Get on that horse.
Yeah, get on the horse and
Giddy
keep
up.
going. Giddy up. I don't know. We're oh yeah, anyways. I liked some of the thematic stuff there, but I don't know, like the show, the fact that it kept me on edge up until the end, it was like teasing me and I was like expecting something to happen. And then something didn't happen, so I was kind of mad. And there was like nothing's gonna happen. They actually do get out. And even if they just showed that the world was a wasteland, it's like, all right, cool. Now you've set something else up for the future. Instead, now I'm kind of just getting cucked. And I don't like getting cucked. You heard it here first.
That's how I heard.
So
Interesting.
well, now you've heard it here first. So there you go. Yeah, send it to the presses, hot off the presses. But yeah, so I think 7 out of 10 is good for me. Like it was fun, nothing critically incredible, but it was super fun, and I'm glad I watched it. At the end of the day, it was a very fun time. So that averages our scores out to a 7.4, which is about par for the course for the Mal reviews. They have a 7.21. I don't know. Everyone else in our server probably would have, or in our club would have been very similar. I'd say 7 to 8 range.
Except for Has
would have given it a 1.
Yeah, Has will legit give it a 1.
Has is special, and he knows that, and we love him for it, right? So yeah, I guess that wraps up our discussion on Danganronpa, the animation. Am I saying that right, by the way? Who cares? Doesn't matter anymore. Never gonna say it again. Miles, what are we watching? Grandpa. Yeah, dang it, Grandpa. I like that.
Danganronpa.
Also like that one.
I'd wear
what
one
are we
of
watching? Yeah, Miles, what are we watching next week or 2 weeks from now?
In third place, we had a tie between Uma Musume, Pretty Derby, and Lupin the Third.
That's what's up. That's what's up.
In second place, we had Nozaki-kun. And then in first place, we had Trent's too excited. I want to lie to him now and say he didn't win.
No!
We had, of course, the holy shit, the cooking, shopping, Emiya time, food, fate food.
Today's menu for the Emiya family.
That one.
Woo!
Nice.
So that's what we'll be watching for our club meeting on November 13th. I believe, is that Veterans Day? No, that's next week. Either way, doesn't matter.
Do your favorite veteran-themed anime for your nominations.
Yeah, exactly. Well, no, that's what we're watching for. But yeah, so this will be nominations for, I guess, Thanksgiving, right? We're pretty damn close to it, the 27th of November. Pete, what have you got?
Okay.
For nominating? Please don't be Horse Girl.
Here we go. So there's a studio that Pat always comes to the defense of. Like when we talk about Ufotable or whatever, he's like, I really like this studio, and that's PA Works.
Yep. No, it's
Pat's
PA Works,
a big PA work, so I'm gonna target this towards Pat. That he enjoys the work that they do. That a lot of times they do shows that maybe get swept under the rug or maybe not watched or as popular as other shows. Like, we got Kongming, we got Akiba Maid War, we got Buddy Daddies. Some of these shows that were kind of popular but not like mainstream. So I'm going to pick a show that I think that got swept under the rug a little bit, done by PA Works, that I think a lot of people are going to enjoy. I'm going to be nominating Uma Musume Pretty Derby.
Oh my god.
He's wearing the horse hat. Come on.
Yeah. Off to the
Fair
Glue
enough.
Factory.
You know what? I can't even be mad about it.
Send him to the Glue Factory, man. Ugh, gross.
You like that one?
I hope they all get boxered.
Yeah. We've had a couple accidents at Saratoga this year, haven't we? That were pretty horrific. Yeah, no, don't look that up if you don't like seeing sad things. Trent, do you have a
Jesus Christ
nomination? I know, sorry. It was what I thought about. The first thing I thought about was Saratoga Springs, and stuff happened this year more than normal. Sorry. Worse things happened.
Yeah, so this has been, I don't think it has won. If it has won before, please tell me and I'll switch to my backup show. But I know for sure it's been nominated quite a bit.
I'm going to nominate Uma Musume Pretty Derby.
Uma Musume Season 2. No. So I know Watch Club and Pete in particular are all really big fans of Satoshi Kon.
Gang.
And so taking it on the opposite direction of today's menu for Emiya's family, and being happy and lighthearted and family and together and so cozy and comfy, I just watched Perfect Blue in theaters a few weeks ago. And so now I'm kind of on the Satoshi Kon kick. But one show that has been nominated a few times but I don't see has won before.
It has not.
Is Paranoia Agent.
Yeah.
And so I'm getting the Paranoia Agent train back up and running. And so that is what I will be nominating.
Shonen Bat himself.
Fantastic. Alrighty. What have you got, Miles?
So there's a few things that I've thought going into here. One, I want chaos, and so I'm going to try to split the Paranoia Agent vote so that Uma Musume Pretty Derby wins.
Love it.
And then two, I like being a hater for things lots of people like. So I'm going to nominate a show that I've seen, but I don't know how many people have seen, and it's like an all-time classic. I'm going to nominate Serial Experiments Lane.
Oh, okay.
I was thinking about nominating that as well this past week. Oh, that's great. Great call out, man. Yeah, the votes are going to get split now.
All right.
That's tough.
Respect.
It's tough. Yeah. All right. Jay, what about you? What are you and your cute dog in the background going to nominate?
I am going to nominate a show that had a bit of a troubled production earlier this year, but is now completed, and I would love to see how it planned out. It is something that is also kind of related to what we did this week tangentially, because they're a similar type of adaptation. I am nominating Nier Automata version 1.1a.
Oh, dude, Trent just had aneurysm.
I don't know what to vote for. These are all such great options. I gotta get my 2B cosplay next week or next time. Then
I have a.
I don't actually have.
I can't wait to see your ass, dude.
Well, if you want it.
I get an achievement if I look at it long enough.
Nice.
Does that actually happen?
Yeah, if you look up, yeah.
That's so
But
dumb,
the
but
game
that's
will
so
fight
good.
back, though. She will actively try to get you to stop looking at it, but you have to
Really?
fight through that.
That
Yeah,
makes it worse.
it's self-aware. It knows what you're doing. She knows.
It makes it worse, Trent, that she tries to fight back. Actually, that's
I may or may not have platinumed Nier Automata.
All right, anyways, sorry. I'm just gonna nominate Link Click Season 2 again because I think that would be so much fun to talk about. And give me a reason to watch it again. Give me
Watch
a
Link
reason
Click
to
again.
watch Link Click again. Yes.
Yeah.
There we go. We got there. All right, sweet. I guess that wraps up our watch club for the week. Thank you guys for joining us. And Pete, why don't you close us down?
If you want to support us, the best way to do so, like, comment, subscribe, leave a review on whatever platform you are watching and or listening to us on. Next week, doing something anime related. Tune in Monday. There'll be an episode that's dropping. Otherwise, if you are here for Watch Club in 2 weeks, we will see you for today's menu with the Emiya family. I think that's the correct verbiage. Yeah, that'll be super fun. I'm looking forward to checking that out. So thanks, and we will see you next time. Peace.